Well, welcome back everyone. Today we're going after the Orb of Darkness. Nothing much more to say than that, but I have forgotten to get all my items ready for showing off to the other party members yet again. Though this time it's just more or less just the fact that I don't have time to prepare all that, since it would require using Codebreaker and changing the codes around. And it's currently 6:13 a.m. right now, and I just don't have the time to get all that prepared. But I will most likely do it in the next video, since that'll probably be the video where I fight the final boss, if things go well. Since this LP's almost over, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what's coming up, particularly Mushroom Kingdom Fusion. For those of you who are not in the know, I've talked to a few of my friends already that don't know about this. It's essentially a fan game, a Mario fan game that is a bit of a crossover project. I hate these enemies. It's essentially a bunch of different characters from a lot of different games playing stages that are also from a bunch of different games. But they're all made in 2D, which is something that we have seen very little of these days. Or at least ones that are made well. So, I really like it. A lot of work was put into it, and I've honestly wanted to play it for quite a while. I decided to do a blind run of it, because I thought it'd be pretty humorous to actually do so. Also, I figured it'd be a very interesting experience of the game. So far, I haven't really regretted it, though there is a bit of a problem. It would seem that recording this game is proving to be insanely difficult, because every time I try, my recorder seems to have a problem with it. I got like 3 episodes in, and then it just decided to crash the recording every time I try to do anything with it. Needless to say, that's getting pretty annoying. Now, what can I do about this? Not too terribly much. I would like to try a bunch of different recordings, but wrong button. To see if I can fix the problem using other recorders. I've tried a few already, like the standard ones like Fraps, Chem Studio, Debut. However, with the exception of Debut, none of the other ones really seem to work all that well. Can't use Debut, however, because it has the unfortunate side effect of crashing my mom's computer. Well, not really crashing it, but it causes it the blue screen, and that's not good. I don't think the blue screens, as of yet, haven't really damaged her computer, but it's certainly not a good thing. So I'm trying to find an alternative. And that's really the problem. Debu's the only program that has essentially been flawless in the recordings. There are a couple new recorders I've never heard of before that I'm going to try out, and we're just going to have to hope for the best there. Ugh, I hate these enemies so much. I stand by what I said, that I believe that this part of the game should have been a lot longer than it was. Honestly, plot-wise, I only went through like 3 dungeons, I think. Let's see. Pity Island, Flying Palace, not counting the Ice Cave, that was optional, but the Sand Caves, I think. I think that was the area after that. Well, if you count the final temple and the boss fight there, but that's basically it. And then it's just the final boss. I mean, the final dungeon. That has the final boss in it, which is the Abyss. That's pretty lame, to be perfectly honest. It's almost like they really didn't have anything left for the end of the game. I know I shouldn't expect all that much, since this game was technically rushed, but it is something that's worth noting. It's not anything that really breaks the game, but it is kind of disappointing, since they could have done so much with this. You're still alive? Whatever. I got plenty of mage potion right now. However... Oh, I gained wind level 4. Which unfortunately is also a single hit attack spell. And as I've already discussed, those tend to suck, so... Jeez. This is why I wish they would actually let me fly to the Abyss, because it can take a while to get there. And yes, it does drain your MP considerably while you're getting there. Also, lately these days I've been kind of meh on using magic. Just because of how fast Mage Potion can actually go. However, because so many enemies have the Void spell in this area, I don't take as many chances as I used to. Because you saw what happened last time I let that happen. Very annoying, that. Well, time for the second orb. If I recall, I think this one was a bit more annoying. That's why I hate taking chances like this. Because of the off chance that they might guard your attack. But I can't magic spam like all the time either. Because my magic sources aren't infinite. I have a lot of them, but they're not infinite. And this place can take a while anyway, so... Although, killing a dragon with a throwing knife does look pretty awesome. So I will give it that. The problem is attacking this way just means I'll be healing more often. I'm curious about something. Still no attack level 2, really? Come on, it's not that rare of a spell. Let's see, he's a grand total of... about 40 levels. Wow. That's pathetic. Oh, great. Nightmare Queen. I nicknamed her the Magic Queen because she tends to have, like, the strongest of magic, usually. I don't want to use magic when there's just 2 enemies around, but this witch can get pretty annoying pretty fast. She also has pretty good defense as well, so it can take a while to take her down. Yeah, she is a brat. I guess that's what Domino thought of that. Huh. Well. I keep forgetting which way I'm supposed to be going on these. Okay, there we go. Oh, for crying out loud. Holy crap, really? Alright, whatever. Let's see. I'll go ahead and use his, because I'm afraid not to. This time, it was worth it. Holy crap! Okay. I think I actually should have used fire here. I do not like these things, man. Quit going after him! Okay, that didn't go very well. At least he leveled up. Not that levels actually mean all that much at this point, but every little bit helps. Okay, Orb of Darkness. And it looks blue instead of orange. Neat. Okay. Time to take care of this path. Sorry if I don't sound too enthused in these last couple of videos, including this one. I'm just getting a little worn out of this game period. It's been going on a lot longer than it actually should have. I blame that on really, for me not being prepared, because a lot of these videos, including the pathetic attempt at trying to beat the Temple of Orin way back when, it really shows in my recordings, and I really shouldn't have done that. I really should have done what I did in the last video and just off-screened a lot of it, or at least a lot of the repeating, and just ran from everything. I didn't do it because honestly I find that kind of boring, but for the viewers, for you viewers' sake, I should have done it anyway. I'm not wasting magic just on 2 enemies, screw that. Alright. This time I'm gonna try going up. To see what happens. Oh dear God. Well, there is technically 5 enemies, so I think I can get away with this. There we go, that's a nice little bit of damage. Yeah, these things are a pain. Let's see. Oh yeah, they are low. I should never let my people get that low. Yeah, if I ever got a fight like that, and I didn't have magic, I would get my butt kicked. Like, we're talking big time here. Because I believe all those enemies had magic abilities. Yeah, fun times were to be had with those. I also have sources that I don't think I've ever used. Is the left the right way? Yep. When in doubt, go left. so far so good. I'm gonna try using fire on this group. I don't know if they're weak to it or not, though. I wish my memory of these games were better than this, but they're really not. Oh, time to find out. Yep, they're weak to fire. Well, that's helpful at least. Okay, what's this way? You know what? No, I'm running from this group. Too much of a hassle. Oh, come on, don't do this to me, game. Okay, good. Two steps. Okay, I have noticed that this game is kind of sadistic in the sense that if you run a lot from enemies, the random encounter rate does happen more quickly. And yes, I've actually tested this. And it does indeed seem to be the case, since I always get into battles faster when I'm running a lot. To be perfectly honest though, I don't like that. Because, when people run, it's usually because they're in the middle of trying to either solve a puzzle or they're running low on resources. And oh dear God, man. Oh, really? Oh, I knew this was gonna happen. It always does. Anyway, like I was saying, the higher encounter rate when running is really kind of a dick move because if people are trying to solve a puzzle or are running low on resources, then they don't want battles to whoa. Ow. They don't want battles to appear even faster. If anything, that's virtually a way to get players killed. Because running isn't always successful, and if you are fighting very strong enemies, then the odds are that your chances of survival will be very slim. So that's very mean-spirited. Honestly, instead of doing that, I just wish they would have made a kind of a mechanic in the game to where if your characters are very weak, that your chances of running will be greater. At least that's the way I would do it, and that's how I am gonna do it in my RPG Maker game. Where if your stats are low, then your agility during battle will be raised to the point where you can run. Let me try this way. I doubt it, but you never know. This way too? Yeah, this path definitely sucks. Oh no, not this again. Come on. Okay, is this the right way? I doubt it, but... When in doubt, go left. I've got to remember that. For those of you who don't know what I mean, a lot of game developers... Okay, now I'm just getting pissed off. It seems like every different path I try to take, is always blocked off. Seriously, game? Oh, this is so stupid. It may take more than one video to get past this path the way I'm going here. Oh, great. No. Alright. Can I defeat the devil insects in time? Probably not. Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, I can. I could have sworn they were faster than that, but I'm not complaining. Okay. Let me try this path. Okay, at least I'm getting somewhere now where I'm not blocked off. I'm losing it. Yeah, I'll do that. Just because I'm using Undine. And I'm sticking Domino on it too, so it shouldn't live. Yeah, it's gonna die. Okay, let's try this way. If the enemies would leave me alone long enough, anyway. Well, that's one down. Faster than Domino, it seems. Yeah, it really is unfortunate that Domino kind of got the shaft in terms of stats in this playthrough because he really shouldn't have. Okay, this time I could go right. Okay, am I there now? Am I there? It looks like it. Well, anyway. Oh, crap. This video is going to be a bit of a short one, isn't it? I was expecting the video to go on a bit longer than this. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do for this video. I don't want to beat it yet. I probably would have time for it. Well, actually not really. It'd probably drag on a bit longer than this. But I also want to deal with some loose ends as well. But I can't really pause the video to do that due to my recording setup, so Huh. What could I do? I honestly am at a loss here because I think I've done everything humanly possible to do in the actual game. There's no side quest left. I guess I could talk about um, the different stories and I guess myths that went along with this game. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of people have heard different things regarding the not only the publishing but the development of Beyond the Beyond, and certain things that that were thrown out and that were supposed to be in the game. None of it's official because really Camelot's pretty hush hush about this game's production. Almost to the point where they don't even want to acknowledge it. It did so badly in sales that they are ashamed of it, so whenever people ask about it, they pretty much are kind of like, Beyond the Beyond? What was that game? I don't remember it. I honestly don't even think that that's how they really feel. They just don't really want to talk about the game, so they use that as the excuse. That's disappointing. That's pretty disappointing too, because it's not a bad game. It was just really unnoticed. But because of its treatment, they really don't want to ever bring it up. Which is really disappointing for me, because I personally love it. It really does give off that classic feel. And I got to a level 2. Oh, wow, Domino actually got 3 strength. That's rare, especially these days. He's still almost able to keep up with Finn's strength. As surprising as that is. Oof, gotta get some magic back on these people, man. They go through it so fast. I kind of wish they would have given me a better substitute to Mage Potion, because it can take a while to get them filled back up. But that's a minor nitpick, I guess. Now, if you bring the Orb of Darkness up here and put it in here, it opens the final door. However, I'm gonna save all that. When you go to fight the final boss, you can pretty much take any path you want, since all the paths are open to you at that point. That's assuming if you save your progress after completing them both. If not, then yeah, that can get kind of annoying. Though, there is something I forgot to show off. Despite the vicious ones being so evil and crooked, if you talk to the people of Quamdar, he speaks kind of against them. Under their control? What? I thought he was the leader. Interesting. So, according to the people of Quamdar, he's a victim as well. Quite a different story when you compare what you've heard so far. He doesn't say anything important, but Shutet has kind eyes. Since when? Oh, hey. What do you know? Hmm. Something tells me we're going to have a good long talk with Shutet. Because something's not quite right here. But anyway, like I was saying, there's a lot of rumors and myths surrounding Beyond the Beyond. One popular one that has been kind of thrown out nowadays is that there were supposed to be a lot of extra quests in this game, like, say, going back to the Cave of Spirits and fighting the Kraken as an optional boss. I talked about how it would be cool if you could summon him by defeating him, but people have actually said that he was supposed to be a boss, but because it was a rushed game, it never happened. The reason that this was thrown out is because that there's really nothing in the code to suggest that he's even a boss at all, since no one has actually found data for a sprite of the Kraken. So people have pretty much proved that that's pretty much false. Other things are that other characters were supposed to be members of your party, like Xeon from the Mystic Village, and that the vicious ones that you killed were supposed to have a far bigger role in the story. Mind you, a lot of these things are just wishful thinking and probably something that was never meant to be, but it's still interesting to talk about. Honestly, it's surprising just how many people actually talk about this game, considering the fact that it's, well, mostly an underrated gem. Despite this, a lot of people really seem to like it and actually talk about it. I don't think you see it as much anymore because as time went by, more and more people started to forget about it, but oh well. I guess that's the way it goes. I'll say one thing though. The biggest disappointment for me is that this never got the sequel it needed. As you're gonna find out later, a sequel was pretty much hinted upon when you actually beat the game. As a matter of fact, it would seem very strange if they hadn't planned on making one, considering the way that this game actually will end, which I'll show off later. However, that obviously never happened, and I have been disappointed ever since, because I would love nothing more than to play the sequel to this game, and they could do it really well, because the battle system has a striking resemblance to Gohan Sun, which Camelot can make pretty well. So they could do a Beyond the Beyond sequel, no problem. The problem is that just probably wouldn't sell. Beyond the Beyond really isn't known to the masses very much, and if they threw out a sequel to it, it probably wouldn't catch on very well. Mostly because people who were interested in the sequel would probably want to play the original. And, well, trying to find a copy of this isn't easy. There's very few copies rolling around. And when you do find one, it's usually pretty overpriced. Not to the extent of some games, but I see this game go for used for about $40. And that's a bit ridiculous. I mean, $40 is what I would probably ask for it new, if that. But a used game like this for $40 isn't very pleasing to a consumer. So they would probably look at that and scoff at it and probably never get it. At least if they're smart, they would. I mean, I want people to play this game too, but I don't think I'd ever recommend you buy a game used at that price if it's this old. Because that's just robbery, really. I wouldn't say it's in the same category as price gouging, but if it gets any higher, I probably would say that. Um, Also, I've heard from a lot of people that Camelot has almost completely given up on making games because even Golden Sun's recent release, which I think was Dark Dawn, it wasn't really all that good. I remember playing it myself, and I like it okay, but I can understand why some people don't like it. It's not really. The storyline's not as complex as the other two games were, and the characters do kind of look like they're trying to fill in the role for their parents, but it honestly just feels like an experience we've already experienced. A journey we've already experienced, I mean. We've been through this kind of adventure 2 times already. We want something new, and this is not what I was expecting. Also, the designs for this game kind of make me feel a little bit annoyed because the overall world is pretty and all, but the character models look pretty lame, to be honest. The GBA sprites were simple, but they had a certain charm to their design, and they looked fine. The DS designs, however, look terrible. It's almost like they're trying to kind of add a 3D effect to the models, and it doesn't look very good. I would have rather them just stuck to advanced 2D myself, but apparently we live in a world where 3D rules overall, basically, and more companies are trying to execute 3D into their 2D worlds, and it does not look good. DS 3D models especially tend to look pretty bad, and I just don't like it. I think 3DS was basically when Nintendo should have relied on 3D a bit more. Although it's not mostly Nintendo's fault, it's mostly with the third-party games that wanted to do this, and it does look pretty terrible. I'm really glad that eventually Square Enix just gave up on the 3D model idea and just went back to advanced 2D for their DS games, because, oh, it looks so much better after that. Mind you, I don't know how many DS games actually released after that, but whatever. I do remember experiencing Crystal Defenders after Final Fantasy 4 DS, and I found Crystal Defenders a lot more enjoyable, just because it didn't look near as bad. Not to say that Final Fantasy 4 DS didn't have its good points, but overall, the graphics and models they used didn't really impress me all that much. Honestly, I've seen the graphics of the PSP Final Fantasy 4, I don't know what it's called, Chronicles or something, and it looks so much better, personally. It's not in 3D, but personally, I think keeping it in advanced 2D was the right decision. It just doesn't look as messy. If they decide to make it 3D later on, yet again, I hope they at least pick the right system for it, because trying to force 3D on the DS did not help, because the system really can't handle it all that well. It's been about 40 minutes, so I'm just going to call it quits here. and stop it early. Because I'm running out of things to really talk about at this point without going on a rant fest. So I will see you guys later.